Morning, everyone. Good morning. On this lovely, dreary, rainy, I guess it's a nice rain, not a down. My plants are happy. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Pottstown. My name is Linda Kuzitsky, and I am the worship associate for today. Come in, be among us. To all who are yearning for community, come in, be among us. To all who are just getting started, to all who long to go deeper, to all with tender places needing care, come in, be among us. To the ones who have healed and have care to give, for those who are curious and hungry to learn, for those who know that they have something to teach, come in, be among us. For the ones who are just beginning to suspect they might nurture others becoming, to the young and the old, the innocent and the jaded, the fresh of mind and deeply steeped, there is room for each of you and everyone. Come in and be among us. Now is the time for announcements. I will open it up if there are any announcements. No.
Hi, I'm the greeter and other things I do here. Due to operator error, I didn't make two-sided copies of the service. But if you have any thoughts about the sermon today, we usually have 5 questions you can answer. I'll leave one two-sided word of service there. So if anyone wants to fill out a survey, please do so, just using the piece that we have. I don't want to waste more paper. And feel free to drop it to the box in the back. Again, I can do more sophisticated things, but obviously I can't make the copies very effectively. Copy Joe.
Good morning, I'm Clifford, and I'm going to be doing another fundraising cooking demo sometime in the middle of June at a date yet to be determined exactly. But I'll be demoing some hand-rolled pasta, fresh pasta making, and a couple of different sauces to go with it. So that announcement will be made very soon. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kay. We are going to have a cleanup party on the 18th. There's an awful lot of work to be done. So I'm hoping that we can get a good turnout. Hope that the weather is nice and make sure everybody wears their old clothes and bring some tools with you. Gardening tools. Okay, thanks. Saturday, the 18th.
Hi, I'm Diane. Leaders of the Wind Fire, which is my coven based here in Pottstown, will be holding our Beltane celebration this Saturday. And thankfully, we will be doing it here in the yard. Gather is at 1, and which will be around 2, and there will be a little potluck afterwards, all outside. So please come and join us if you're of a mind. The other thing I wanted to say is that the powwow on Mentoni is in town this weekend. So it happens in Riverside Park from noon till 5 today. Yesterday, they had a beautiful display when you're walking in the entrance. There are all these red dresses hanging from trees and from tents and things. Those dresses represent missing and murdered Indigenous women. Today is National Awareness Day for that particular situation. So if you see people in red, that is often what they are doing, is wearing red to represent a missing or murdered Indigenous woman whose voice cannot be heard and who is unlikely to receive justice. So be aware, go visit the powwow, just bundle up in something warm and take an umbrella and a chair. The dancing and the drumming is awesome. And so thank you.
I have a few announcements, the first of which is there will be a board meeting next Saturday via Zoom starting at 9 a.m. for all of those members of the board. We are still, UUFP is still looking for volunteers to be delegate delegates to General Assembly, which is at the end of June. And remember this, while all of them are very important, This one is where the vote will be taken on whether or not to adopt the proposed changes to Article 2. So we definitely want to have our vote count, but we need delegates. So if anybody wants to volunteer to participate, please speak to me. I'll give you more information regarding that. And just so you know, our annual congregational meeting, which is our version of the General Assembly, will be on June 2nd after the service. And that's where members are going to be able to vote on the board of directors, and our proposed budget. All are welcome to attend, but only those who are members can actually vote. We will also, for the suggestion when we reviewed Article 2, actually vote on what UUFP, how we want to vote as a fellowship on Article 2, to accept or to not accept the proposed changes. So I want to let you know that. All right, so enough from the business aspect of it. We'll now transition into the more spiritual aspect of our Sunday morning. And we'll start with the chalice lighting. Do I have a online here for somebody, please? Our chalice lighting is from Sophia Lyons Paz. We light our chalice this morning for what UU religious educator Sophia Lyons Paz called prayers, 3 abiding values: the quiet meditation on life, the reaching out toward the universal and the infinite, and the courageous facing of one's profoundest wishes.
Welcome to this place of peace. May we find some moments of quiet contemplation. Welcome to this place of celebration. May our hearts soar with gratitude for the gift of life. Welcome to this place of sacred love. May we gently hold all broken here. Welcome to this place of inquiry. Here, may we be challenged to open our minds and our hearts ever wider. Come into the place of community. May we together draw the circle of love and justice ever wider. Welcome to this sacred place. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is in your teal hymnals, number 1009, Meditation on Breathing, and it's a short one. So, and there are those little dots that say repeat. So we're going to sing it 6 times. And sing it 6 times. But it's a short piece, and it feels better if we sing it 6 times. time for all ages now, so I invite Megan to come forward and share that with us. Would you like our cordless mics? Is this on? Yes, it is. There we go.
Today's story is A Hug Goes Around. A mountain goes up, a valley goes down. Where does a hug go? A hug goes around. Rosy sun's rising, in her pink gown. Ma lifts the baby, a hug goes around. Sweet smells of breakfast drift up the stairs. Down tumble children, hungry as bears. Flapjacks go flip-flop, butter is found. Syrup tips over, a hug goes around. Soap suds go slip-slop, dish rag goes swish. Lizzie's not looking, quick, catch the dish. Wee, Tom goes swinging, screech, wails the gate. Don't let the chicks out, whoops, it's too late. Pa planting pole beans, Tom yells, come see. Champ has chased Whisper up the oak tree. Champ's in the doghouse, but Tess is so brave. She climbs up the oak tree and Whisper is saved. Ma goes fishing, Lizzie goes too. Now angry clouds threaten and Ma says we're through. Thunder comes crashing, raindrops pelt down. Lightning is frightening, a hug goes around. The storm soon blows over, bright sun shines at last. 4 mud puddle jumpers run wild in the grass. The girls prance in turbans while rub-a-dub-dub. Tom the baby are having a scrub. Once supper is over, Pa tickles the strings, and Ma rocks the baby while everyone sings. Teeth are all brushed, prayers are all said, children are snugly tucked into their bed. Sleep, ginger kitty, sleep, lurkish hound, sleep, little darlings, a hug goes around. Moon on the mountain, quiet abroad. Isn't peace sweet, dear? A hug goes around.
Let's sing the children out to their classes. Go now in peace. Now I invite the choir to sing the anthem for us this morning. Your life be as a song.
As a song, resounding with the dawn to
We're going to enter into a period of meditation now, and we'll begin by remaining seated and singing Spirit of Life. It's number 123 in your hymnals, your gray ones. Meditation is a little bit different. It starts with a quote and continues through sort of humorous experience and then ends with a prayer. And this comes to us from Tara Humphreys. She's a newer UU minister. And she begins by quoting another one of our colleagues, Gretchen Haley, who says, "Uncross your arms, lean all the way in. Love is everywhere." And then she tells this anecdote where she says, I recently found myself in a Kundalini yoga class with a new teacher. I'm a UU, but Kundalini yoga is my spiritual practice. I'm wearing my white cotton clothing, my head wrap, sitting on my natural fiber blanket, moving contentedly through the exercises with care, and focus, and precision. All of a sudden, one of the exercises brought up a whole bunch of resistance in me. Sit in easy pose with your legs crossed, arms out to the side, hands in fists, she instructed us. Okay, I can do that. And begin to move your arms in circles as fast as you can. So, she says, it was challenging but doable. I closed my eyes and focused my attention at the brow point, the third eye. Now, she said, begin to chant, God, 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 as you vigorously circle your arms. Oh boy, I thought, here we go. They couldn't just be arm circles. I began to chant with her, but my thoughts kept inviting themselves in to interrupt me. Why do I have to chant God? God, God, God. Well, what do I even mean by God? God, God, God. Is everyone else actually saying this out loud? God, God, God. This is weird. I wonder if people are looking at me. God, God, God. Okay, Tara, just get over it. God, God, God. I shouted. I began to smile, twirling my arms as fast as my shoulder sockets would allow, giggling, then laughing. I don't know if you're out there, but if you are, I hope you're laughing too, because this is freaking awesome. God, God. It's probably the most time anyone has said God in here in a while, right? And then we settled into a comfortable silence. The edges of my mouth had settled in up by my eyes. And there was this deep joy that maybe could have floated me right up off my natural fiber blanket and into the supposed heavens. I'm beginning to learn that when we lean in into the awkwardness, discomfort, and random hilarity of life, in the very moment that life invites us forward, we can tap into the most holy, real, enveloping love that we could ever imagine. Holy love that swirls within us and around us, that holds us together in each and every moment. We thank you for the moments of pure joy, for the sweet nectar of life beyond the comfort zone. May we lean on you with trust and adoration when we lean into life, and may our hearts fill with the gifts that brave and vulnerable action bring forth. Blessed be. Let's spend about a minute together in silent meditation.
That was beautiful, Paula. So now we will do the offertory. And you may be asking yourself, why do we do an offertory? 2 reasons. The first of which is we feel that taking an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important spirit of generosity. An offering that helps to support our fellowship. And 2, we got bills to pay and our creditors want cash. All gifts given are accepted with gratitude. Richard Gilbert writes, life is a brief interval between birth and death. It is composed of a few notes between prelude and postlude. It is a drama quickly played between the rising and falling of a curtain. What shall we do with that interval of time? What combination of notes shall we play? What thespian mask shall we wear? The transience of life tempers our joy. Discordant notes reverberate in the soul. The ending of the play is ever in doubt. Yet the brevity can be rich with joy. A simple tune caresses our ears. The play produces laughter from time to time. Why, then, are we so careless with time? Why do we not sound the music of our hearts? Why do we not feel the stage beneath our feet? Is it not time to enjoy the interval? Is it not time to play our own melody? Is it not time for us to act our part? Life is a brief interval between birth and death. May we celebrate the interval with joy. May we sing the song that belongs to us. May we act as if our very life depended on it. It does. Let's join together in singing hymn number 301 in our gray hymnals, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky.
You've probably all heard the saying that there are two things in life that are certain. And what are they? Yeah, that's right. So if that were my sermon topic today, I could call it two things we'd rather not talk about. But part of my job as minister is to lead you to places where sometimes you'd rather not go. And I am not going to talk about taxes today. But there's another pair of things that are certain, which are birth and death. And I am going to invite us to think a little bit about both of those things, including death. But mostly, I want to focus on what happens in between those two things. So I was going to call the sermon Two Things in Life That Are Certain, but the title I'm going with today is Celebrate the Interval, which is also the title of Richard Gilbert's reading that we just heard. Philosopher and poet George Santayana, maybe he inspired Richard Gilbert. He writes about the time between our birth and death, saying, "There is no cure for birth and death, save to enjoy the interval." But how often do we actively think about doing this, enjoying the interval? As we go about our days, it's easy to take a lot for granted. Our physical health, our mental health, our very life. We can be so very careless with our time when we're in this state of mind. A couple of weekends ago, I was hiking in Maryland on the Appalachian Trail with a couple of really good friends of mine. And one of them, who's about my age, casually mentioned something about having 30 years ahead of him. I admit, I like to imagine this too. And I like to imagine that I'll feel just as healthy and strong and mentally sharp as I feel today. But I said to my friend, okay, that would be nice, but what if you knew you only had a year or two left to live? As I get older, I do think more about the fact that I don't have an infinite amount of time stretching ahead before me. And so on this hike, after I asked this question, and he pondered it, but not for long, I thought to myself, if I knew I didn't have much time left, would I have regrets? A nurse in Australia named Bronnie Ware thought about this question a lot. She worked in palliative care, which, as you may know, focuses on making patients comfortable, reducing their pain as much as possible in the last months of their lives. She cared for patients in those last few months, and she began to notice a pattern. She was moved by what she heard over and over again from these patients who had gone home to die. And what she heard was a remarkable clarity and insight as they each gained as they neared the end of their lives. Not surprisingly, she found that people grow in unexpected ways when they're faced with their own mortality. She learned never to underestimate someone's capacity for growth. She sat with patients as they worked through a variety of emotions: denial, fear, anger, remorse, more denial, but eventually acceptance. Every single patient found their peace before they departed, she writes in the book about what she learned, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. As she spent time with her patients, Nurse Ware often asked them if they had any regrets or if there was anything they would do differently if they could. What she found was that there were common themes that surfaced again and again. We might wonder, are there mistakes that others have made that we might learn from? Is there wisdom from the dying that might help those of us who still have time, although we never know how much? Might we change some of the notes we have yet to play between our own prelude and postlude? Or maybe make changes in the script of the drama between the rising and falling of our life's curtain? I think it's worth considering what these patients shared as they edged toward death. And I have some thoughts on these regrets that I want to share with you this morning. So here are some of the regrets that people at the end of their lives had to make peace with. The first one, the most common regret of all, was I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. When people realize that their life is almost over and look back clearly on it, it's easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. As I hiked along the trail the other weekend, I thought about that, the knowledge that, of course, we never get to do it all. But most people who expressed this regret felt they hadn't honored their most important dreams and had to die knowing that it was due to the choices they had made or failed to make. It's not easy to find the courage to honor our dreams, to honor our true selves. There's so much pressure to mold ourselves into the images and expectations of society. Sometimes it's our own unexamined self-judgments that keep us chained to conventionality. And we often fear the judgments of others. We might be seen as foolish, strange, incapable, unacceptable, or any of a host of other negative assessments. We may fear being rejected by those whose support we feel we need most. Author and speaker Anita Moorjani is the rare person who returned from near death and miraculously recovered from terminal cancer. Moorjani, who was raised in an Indian family with traditional Hindu values, says that she never truly had been herself before getting cancer, but she didn't even realize it because she didn't know who herself was. She was lost in the expectations of the people around her. And she believed that her focus needed to be on getting the approval of others and to be liked. She spent her life trying to be what everyone else wanted her to be. She now says that it took death for her to realize that she's supposed to be a powerhouse and not a doormat. She says that her near-death experience taught her, I was supposed to be here to be everything that I came here to be. And she adds, we all are. We all are here to be everything that we came here to be. The second common regret people had was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Every one of Nurse Ware's male patients expressed this regret. They deeply regretted spending so much of their lives on the work and career treadmill. Looking back, they realized they had sacrificed important time with their children as they were growing up, and their partner's companionship. Women as well as men spoke of this regret about working so hard. Many of the female patients hadn't worked outside the home, but they still looked back and saw that they could have relaxed and enjoyed life and their relationships more. In retrospect, these people would have traded in some of the time spent working for a simpler lifestyle and more time with the people they loved. It's difficult in a materialistic and consumerist society like ours to choose to do with less, even though we know that the more we have, the more time we spend working for it and paying for it, and the more time we also spend maintaining and fixing what we've acquired. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that the more we have, the more comfortable we'll be. When the truth is often the more we have, the more complex our life is. Whatever stage we're at in our lives, with a little creativity, we can find ways to simplify our lives and bring more spaciousness and therefore more joy and laughter into them. The third most common wish that people under Nurse Ware's care shared was, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. Now, these people are from Australia. Here we are in the US, but I kind of think we have a similar tendency to do this. And as a result, these people felt they had settled for what they felt was a mediocre existence. Like Anita Morjani, they felt they never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many also, like Morjani, believed they developed illnesses as a result of the chronic bitterness and resentment that they carried. Bitterness and resentment fester when we view ourselves as victims and we erroneously believe we have no choices. Sometimes we imprison ourselves because we think things should be a certain way or that people should act a certain way. But we all have agency. We are more powerful than we sometimes think. And we do have choices. We can find the courage to have uncomfortable conversations with others, and we can learn ways to open these conversations with bridges that build and strengthen relationships. Or, on the other hand, as Bronnie Ware observes, having the courage to have these conversations releases the unhealthy relationship from your life. Either way, you win. Many of Nurse Ware's patients also said, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Sometimes, sadly, we don't appreciate our friendships until it's too late. Many of the patients didn't recognize the value of maintaining old friendships until their dying weeks. By then, it was often impossible to track down their old friends. Many people realize too late they become so caught up in their own lives that they let worthwhile friendships slip. They dearly wish they made it more of a priority to give their friendships the time and effort that they deserved. How hard would it have been to pick up the phone or send an email or write a letter? Years ago, I knew an elderly woman. She was the mother of a member of a congregation I served in. She was someone who had no such regret. I've always admired her because of her positive outlook on life and her commitment to her friends. She steadfastly kept in touch with her many longtime friends and acquaintances. I still picture her sitting there with cards and envelopes on her lap and a pen in her hand. She was a person who made the time to write letters, to make phone calls, to send cards, to make the effort to express her caring. And it was so appreciated. And her life was so rich as a result. Whenever I realize I've been neglecting a friendship I care about, I'm reminded of this woman and I'm inspired to make the effort. Because when I do reconnect with an old friend, I'm always glad I did. And they are too. As Ware observes, it all comes down to love and relationships in the end. That is all that remains in the final weeks, love and relationships. The fifth top regret that Nurse Ware's patients often had, and the last one I'll share this morning, was I wish that I had let myself be happier. One of the most profound and maybe also one of the most poignant insights that people in their final weeks of life had was the recognition that happiness is a choice. As they reviewed their lives, they saw how they'd gotten stuck in old patterns and habits. Many now saw they'd chosen to live with anxiety, for example, or constant drama because it was familiar. They could now see that it was their fear of change that led them to pretend to others and even to themselves that they were content. They now saw that they could have chosen to be happier, to find more occasions for wholehearted laughter and silliness, fun. Life is ultimately so transient. For those of us who do not have a terminal diagnosis, and for those of us who do have a terminal diagnosis, it doesn't matter. For all of us, we can start right now to make a conscious choice to bring more positivity into our lives and our mental soundscape, that monologue that's always running in the background. This is the time to cultivate self-love and acceptance and to reconnect with the people we care about. Delete those old soundtracks that keep us stuck. Now is the time to sound the music of our hearts. Now is the time to feel the stage beneath our feet. It is time right now to truly enjoy the interval, to play our melody, to act our part to our utmost. Through meditation, prayer, and mindfulness, we cultivate our conscious awareness of our thoughts, our feelings, and our reactions. As we do this, we can grow in self-love and heal the wounds of our past. In this way, we grow in our compassion toward others as well, and in our experience of the most holy, real, enveloping love that we could ever imagine. And we can know the pure joy of leaning in more fully to this precious interval of life, into the awkwardness and random hilarity and sweet nectar beyond the comfort zone. Then, if we're fortunate enough to have the opportunity to look back over our lives as others have done, we'll know within ourselves the satisfaction and peace of having lived fully with consciousness, purpose, and happiness. I think I could say that if I found out that my life would be over very soon, I hope it's not, but if that were the case, I would probably have some small regrets, but I'm generally at peace with the way my life has unfolded. I do my best to practice what I've preached here this morning, and that's working out pretty well. As the poet Donna Markova writes, I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. So let us celebrate the interval. May it be so. And let's join in singing in your great hymnals, number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings.
And I need a volunteer to extinguish the chalice. All right, Chloe. And if we can all recite in unison the closing words, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of wisdom, the warmth of community, for the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and in our hands until we are together again. Thank you all, and coffee time. Yay. Thank you, Linda. Yeah. Stop that. Lives, younger and all that, so yeah. And the whole thing is, I will tell you when you start to move. That's fine. All right. Visualize it. And